crowded booth with Bryce Koon.
Tonight's episode, although there's no official sponsorship, is going to be brought to you by Yasso Bars. They're phenomenal. I'm eating one live on stream. And I bring in my partners, Ralph Leary, Will Manis. Will's heated.
Get me out of here. Get
Ralph
me out
doesn't
of
know
here.
what's going on. Well, he does. He's fully aware.
What do you mean?
How you guys doing on a Monday evening?
Will's just excited to be here and talk about SEC football today. He loves it.
Yeah, I'm here. I love talking about SEC quarterbacks. Don't care about Yasso Bars. They're not a sponsor, so I don't know why we're glazing them, as the kids say.
Oh, that's not the word I thought we should use.
Mint chocolate chip.
Yeah, anything mint is just wrong with ice cream. So
Well, I don't have to brush my teeth later.
What?
That's the thought process.
that's the process. You know, that's LSU for you out there, Will.
Hey, we here.
Down.
We here. We're gonna rock and roll. We're gonna talk tonight. SEC quarterbacks. Listen, guys, we're gonna kind of get into this. I do want to say this before we get started. This is as of our thoughts on these as of February the 19th, 2020.
My thoughts won't change. Doesn't matter what day you're listening to this. My thoughts will.
Will has now publicly said that his thoughts will not change, even if Kentucky goes 9-3 this year, or undefeated. Like he's just not changing. So, what's up, Maxwell? Yasso Bars for the win. Without further ado, we're going to get into this. I think Ralph's got it detailed. We'll go Will first, Ralph, if we can.
Put
You
me on the
spoiled mine.
spot.
Well,
I was gonna say those are not mine. It's not my.
Will,
there
take it
is.
away. Your SEC quarterback rankings.
All right, so number one, Carson Beck. I figured this would be pretty obvious, kind of low hanging fruit here. But I was actually talking to my dad earlier, telling him about the show and kind of going through our rankings. And I said Carson Beck is one, and he said, "Why? He's not that good."
Oh,
so
God.
let me just give you some stats. Same stats I gave him earlier, just based off 2023 last year. Carson Beck completed 72% of his passes for 3,941 yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I would say that's pretty good. He had the 5th highest QBR in the country at 86. So did not think that would be controversial. Did not think I would have to spend any time really on the top 4, but felt like I had to spend some time there. Carson Beck, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, not just the SEC. Number 2, Jackson Dart might kind of be a surprise, putting him ahead of Quinn Ewers. Ewers has been really good. He took Texas to the playoff this year, but has not played an SEC schedule like Jackson Dart has, and Jackson Dart has been excellent in his 2 years as a starter, 3 years as a starter, whatever it is. It's 2 years as a starter. Everybody has 6 years now, so I can't keep them straight. Really like Jackson Dart. Really like what he does in that Ole Miss offense under Lane Kiffin as the play caller, probably the best play caller in the SEC. So that's why I put Dart over Ewers, just because of the SEC experience. Ewers, they're kind of 2A and 2B. Honestly, Ewers, I think, has more arm talent than Dart does. Number 4, Brady Cook. I think last year spoke for itself. Brady Cook it really emerged as an elite quarterback, as a great quarterback in the SEC, took Missouri, led them to a Sugar Bowl. Obviously had a great running back in Cody Schrader. He won't be coming back, so we got to see how that offense evolves in 2024. But I think they're in a great spot. They're in a great spot to follow up that 9-win season with another one with Brady Cook under center. So number 5, Connor Wegman. Both of y'all sent me your lists, and I look to be the highest on Connor Wegman out of the three of us.
Yeah.
So Connor Wegman was really, really good
until he got hurt, right?
Until he got hurt against Auburn, until Auburn knocked him out. He started. ESPN's not going to tell me how many games he started. He started some games in 2022. He took over for Haynes King, who Jonesy has already shouted out. Good on Jonesy. Read my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So as a freshman in the several games he started, I think it was
He started
I don't even know how
4.
many it was. Started 4 games, completed 55% of his passes, 896 yards, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And last year before he got hurt, 8 touchdowns, 2 picks, threw for 979 yards in 4 games, I think. Yeah, 4 games. He had, I think, the longest start to a career without throwing an interception. Obviously, that was in Jimbo Fisher's offense, very complex offense. It's been widely talked about. It will change a little bit with Mike Elko, probably get simpler. Well, not Mike Elko's offense, but with the offense he's bringing in. Connor Wegman, really good. I mean, this guy, I've seen him already in what we've said 9 games, not 8.5 games. He's been the starting quarterback. He's won games for Texas A&M, kept them in games on his own. Even with all that talent around him, he has played. He's played extremely well in his short time as quarterback. So where are we on now? 6, Garrett Nussmeier. Look, Nussmeier hasn't played a ton, but I've seen enough. The dude, he's big. He's got a great arm. Bryce, I'll let Bryce talk more about him. He knows more about him, but Nussmeier has the look of a top quarterback. I think he can really move up this list, maybe more than anybody on the list. I think can move up more than anybody. And there are some good ones, including Nico Iamaleava, started against Iowa in the Citrus Bowl. Played really well. I texted a friend of ours that's a Tennessee fan. I said, he is a problem. Dude looked comfortable. Dude looked ready to go against one of the top defenses in the country. No matter what Bryce wants to say about Iowa, they were one of the best defenses in the country. And he didn't miss a beat. He looked really good. I'm sticking Brock Vandegrift dead in the middle. I think Brock Vandegrift has the talent. He was a highly rated recruit for a reason. Didn't play a ton at Georgia. When he did, it was mop-up duty, so of course he looked really good. I just think he has all the physical tools to be a great quarterback. Obviously, Kentucky, they're going to try to run the ball. They're going to have try to have a good offensive line. If they've got that, he's another guy that can move up this list. He's an Auburn legacy. I wish he was at Auburn. Next up, Jackson Arnold. It's going to be his first time starting, his first time in the SEC, but I think just raw talent. He was a top 3 quarterback in his class. This is all on going off what recruiting people that know more than me have said about him. He's a real dual threat. He's going to do a lot. He's going to be trouble for any SEC defense. And look who I've got all the way down here. Jalen Milroe. Yeah,
we know how you feel.
Jalen Milroe's won a bunch of games. He's done really well as Alabama's quarterback, but he lacks the arm talent. Okay, it has nothing to do with being an Auburn fan. He lacks the arm talent to be an elite quarterback. He's great with his feet, great with his legs, but if we're ranking quarterbacks, that's where he's got to sit. What is that? 10th? Yeah, 10th.
Yeah,
for me. That's where he's got to sit just because he likes the arm. He's got a great deep ball, but that's really at the short intermediate games that keep the offense, keeps the offense rolling. He just doesn't have it. He does it with his legs. Very talented player, no doubt about it, but not near a top quarterback in the conference. Hey, Maxwell, I like that. Jalen Milroe. At 11, I've got Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz is an interesting character. I think he gets hated on a lot, and it kind of looks like I'm hating on him by putting him at number 11. But he just he hasn't shown really any confidence, and Billy Napier hasn't shown a lot of confidence in him to throw the ball down the field. I mean, he's a dink and dunk quarterback, effective for their offense, and Napier's kind of built that offense around him, and maybe I'll say a limited skill set with him throwing the ball, limited arm talent. I think he fits well. I think they've done well to elevate Graham Mertz, but he's not great. I've got Diego Pavia, the New Mexico State transfer, at number 12 for Vanderbilt. This guy is a baller. I mean, he walked into Jordan-Hare Stadium and did not skip a beat. I mean, he even took an unsportsmanlike conduct after an interception he threw just up into the Auburn defensive back, Jalen Simpson. So this dude's not scared of anything. I think he's a great fit at Vanderbilt. Kind of gives them an edge that they don't really have and that you don't expect from Vanderbilt. He is fun to watch. He's a little guy, But man, he is tough. He's fearless, plays fearless. He's a ton of fun to watch. Peyton Thorne, golly, I can go on and on and on about Peyton Thorne.
That'll be a separate episode.
Be it. Bryce already cut me off.
A separate episode.
I couldn't justify putting him last because of the three guys under him, and because Peyton Thorne, when he's good, it's kind of like Bo Wallace. When Bo Wallace was at Ole Miss, you had good Bo, you had bad Bo. You kind of have good Peyton, you got bad Peyton. Against Maryland, you had bad Peyton. Against Georgia and Alabama, you had good Peyton. And they're two totally different quarterbacks. Auburn needs consistency big time. They needed every position, and quarterback, most important position. They don't have it there, so it's a separate episode. All right, Blake Shapen transferring in from Baylor at Mississippi State. Kind of a wait and see. On all three of these. Taylon Green transferring in from Arkansas from Boise State. Don't know much about him. And Lenora Sellers will be a first-time starter for South Carolina. I mean, all three of these guys are kind of wait and see. Blake Shapen, I think, kind of fits what Jeff Lebby's going to want to do. Lebby's going to want to air it out, kind of going back to that air raid like they had under Mike Leach. And Shapen, he's got a good arm. Just can he rein it in? He didn't show a ton at Baylor, but I think that was by design with Dave Aranda, obviously a very conservative head coach, defensive-minded conservative head coach. With Lebby, he'll air it out. But really going to wait and see on those bottom three guys for anything. And those teams around them are not good. I mean, that's going to be your bottom three in the SEC this year, those three teams too. So kind of hard to grade all three of those quarterbacks when they haven't played a ton and the teams around them are not good.
All right. I'll go next, Ralph, if you want to scan it over there to me. I think I'm 2 away. Yeah, here we go. All right, so I won't go through it all again because Will gave a lot of details. Carson Beck, to me, head and shoulders number one quarterback in this conference. Not really close. You brought up the concerns of where we sat last year. We didn't know. I mean, this is a guy that arguably is going to have a really, really good shot, I'll say, to be the number one quarterback taken in the 2025 draft. When you start to look at some of the other talent there, I like Quinn Ewers, just more of the arm talent aspect. That's big for me. I think that his arm talent is going to be very, very nice. I think as he makes this transition to the SEC, if he stays healthy, he's a guy that has the potential to be one of the top quarterbacks, hearing his name called in 2025. Jackson Dart, for me, absolutely love what Dart does. Got the chance to see Dart in person. I agree with Will. 2A, 2B right here. This top three for me is kind of head and shoulders away. And then I think there's Brady Cook. Because Brady Cook is really good, and he's a solid quarterback. And I think that you just kind of think, oh, well, he had Cody Schrader. Yeah, you're not going to have him next year. Missouri arguably is going to have the most combination of the most experiences and the best wide receiver room next season. I mean, they're bringing in, they're keeping all of those guys that they had. That's going to be a ton of fun to watch. So I got Cook right there. Milroe for me, and I think Ralph and I kind of sat in the same boat here too. When we talk about pro potential, that's going to be something that I'm going to leave up to the NFL scouts. Yes, Milroe is not the greatest passer. He's a thrower. He's not a passer. That's one thing. But he wins games, and he finds a way to win games. And if you ask any of the opposing defensive coordinators that Alabama beat, most notably LSU this past year, Georgia this past year, he was a headache to have a handle with. So where this position goes and where this position continues to kind of be, I just kind of sit here and I think Milroe, he's got to be in the top half at least, even though he's not a polished product by any means of being a quarterback. But he's a great athlete. He's a great dynamic athlete, and he wins football games for Alabama. I got Nussmeier there kind of in that, and I didn't do mine in tiers. This is strictly, by the way, just we didn't do these in tiers. It's just how the graphic had to be kind of handed out. Nussmeier for me is right there. We saw what he did in the bowl game. This is a kid with an immense amount of talent, has decided to stay. He's going to pair up with Joe Brady once again. I think that Joe Brady getting that OC job down here in Baton Rouge is going to help a lot with the continuity of that offense. They have a lot to replace. You're losing 3 first-round picks in Daniels. Brian Thomas arguably will be one, and Malik Neighbors might be a top 10, top 15 pick as well. When you have those three,
completely missed that Joe Brady thing. I'm a casual college football fan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Joe Brady? Did I say
did.
Joe Brady? Joe Sloan. Sorry. I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
good.
Joe Brady's in Buffalo, Joe Sloan, but it's kind of the same thought process. Quarterback coach is making the jump now to the OC. Apologies on that. Because I will tell you, we have a couple people over on Go 24/7 that actually watch this show. They made a whole thread about you guys' SEC tiers, which was absolutely hilarious. So apologies on that. Joe Sloan, that's going to be massive for them. So can they keep the continuity? I've got Nico here, raw talent, can sling the ball around the yard, love what he does. I think his upside, his potential is probably better than Wegman's in terms of what he can do. Now, Wegman, like Will said, was having a great year until he got hurt last year. Protects the ball really well, but also does a lot of things that you just need in a playmaking per se. When A&M was kind of this topsy-turvy program in terms of they could look like they could win 9 to 11 games or they might win, 5 to 7 games. Wegman was what kind of kept them in the forefront of really, I would say, really in terms of the closer to the 9-win, 10-win threshold. I mean, like Will said, he kept them competitive. He kept them in games that maybe they shouldn't have been in. So I like what Wegman brings to the table. And two, if you look at what Mike Elko did with Riley Leonard, if he can, I feel like Wegman has the higher ceiling here. If he can help make that transfer, I know Elko's a defensive-minded head coach, obviously, but how they just run that program, the confidence he instilled in Leonard, if you can just get, we've seen this, and we'll talk about it, here in the next couple of weeks with ACC quarterback rankings. I'll talk about it with Haynes King tomorrow. You get them out of kind of whatever the heck was happening with Jimbo and all in A&M. Guys kind of feel a little bit more confident about themselves. That's really big. Graham Mertz, I've got him right there. For me, Graham Mertz, 7-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, takes care of the football. That's why I've got him kind of smack dab here in the middle. He's not a guy that I think we saw could go win you a football game on his own arm, but I don't think he's going to necessarily lose you a lot of football games of what he does. He takes care of the football. 2023, threw for 2,900 yards, 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His completion rate was number 4 nationally. It led the conference. His passer rating was finished in the top half of the league behind Daniels, Milroe, Beck, and Dart. So, yes, he's not a guy that's going to air the ball out down the field. But if Florida had a better team, Milroe's not a terrible – or I'm saying Mertz is not a terrible quarterback. If they had a better team, if you had more weapons, legitimate weapons, a better offensive line, then you're talking about the definition of a game manager here in Graham Mertz. He's not going to be too flashy, but he's going to get the job done. Unfortunately, Florida's just not a very, very good football program right now. Jackson Arnold, tons of talent. Excited to see what he can do with Oklahoma. I've got Shapen kind of the top of this. Just, I'll be honest, this is a cluster right here. This is an absolute cluster in this last like 6 or 7, for me. Shapen threw for over 5,000 yards in his career. He comes over. He's going to be very interesting to watch for me in how he can help introduce this Jeff Lebby, Mississippi State, and led Mississippi State into the SEC, or Jeff Lebby back into the SEC as the head coach of Mississippi State. Brock Vandegrift, I think there's upside. We haven't seen him. I know Ralph's going to say the same thing. We just don't know what to say. We don't know if this is going to be a boom or bust. I liked what he would have looked like in Liam Cohen's offense. But now with Bush Hamden, the new OC out there in Lexington, we'll have to see what that looks like. Lenora Sellers is a unit, absolute unit. Going to be fun to watch. Peyton Thorne, we're going to do another episode. I think I'll say this, and then Taylor Green and Diego Pavea. A couple more things on this. These are expected starters, by the way, because there's some battles that we're going to see take place. Vanderbilt also brought in Utah's Nate Johnson, who got some run when Cam Rising said, I just didn't really want to play because I'm hurt last year. He is in Nashville. What is that an option for them? Taylor Green is going to be competing with Jacoby Criswell, the former 5-star from North Carolina that transferred over last year. He spent 1 year in the program. What does that look like in a Bobby Petrino offense? And then Sellers, I guess you could say, is going to be competing with Robbie Ashford. So that'll be something interesting to watch as well. Sellers has the least amount of playing time. He's the biggest question mark for me, but I like the upside better. My thing, and I'll leave it here, and we could talk about this on another episode later in the week. I genuinely believe, and I'll say it so you don't have to, I think we could get to about week 7, and we could say, look, there's still a spring portal window. We don't know what's going to happen. I genuinely think that Auburn could have the worst quarterback in the conference before the season.
Listen, wait a minute. Are you trying to say that Auburn is going to go get a portal quarterback? Because I'll tell you right now, that is not going to happen. And that is not going to happen in the spring.
So that's why you say that. That's why I'm saying, like, I think we could look week 7, week 8, and Auburn very well could have the worst quarterback play in the SEC. I don't think that's don't know if that's even really bold,
That's
honestly.
not a bold take. I don't think so.
with a at minimum top half in talent wide receiver room. That would be pathetic.
Mhm.
You could have an offense that could say, a top 6 wide receiver unit, top 8 or 9 offensive line unit, top 7, top 6 running back room, maybe. I don't know. And then you could have a
You're more
quarterback that
confident than
weighs
me.
you down. It's the anchor. It's the anchor. So I don't know. That's where I sit with that, though. Diego Pavea is very nice. Nate Johnson could be an option there, too. Really interesting to see. But I just think overall, before I give it over to you, Ralph, you see these as they're quarterbacks in the middle. They got a great chance to jump up. Garrett Nussmeier, Nico, Wegman for me. Jackson Arnold could come out and light the world on fire. We don't know. But man, if I'm Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, or Missouri, baby, I am sitting pretty because I think those are your 4 teams. I don't know. Is this crazy? Those might be 4 teams that say, hey, we've got the most important position on the field taken care of heading into 2024. We know who our guy is. We feel comfortable about it.
Yeah, agreed.
Will, did you have thoughts? Were you about to say something?
Don't be surprised if Jalen Milroe is not the starter at Alabama.
I don't think that's not that bold either. They have a really good quarterback room, by the way.
I think Austin Mack will beat him out.
Be shocking to see that, but I don't disagree with it.
Dr. Bob says obligatory post, just say that he hates the SEC, sans Auburn and Vanderbilt.
Don't pander to me, Dr. Bob.
Yeah. I mean, I wore this tonight, so no one would think I was an SEC homer. So
Hey.
we here. That's all I got to say.
Everybody already knows. Everybody already knows.
Look at this. We're here. Hook 'em Vikes. All right. Ralph, let me get a quick sniff here.
Wait, excuse me.
And
Gosh.
let's roll.
This show is all off the rails already.
Roll with yours. Keep it
Yeah.
short.
Yeah, well, since y'all both talked already, there's not much I can say about everybody. I think we all had clear number 1, Carson Beck. I just wasn't comfortable putting Jackson Dart number 1. I wasn't comfortable doing it. I think he has been an absolute baller the last 2 years. He's had his fair share of bad games. There's no doubt about that, where he's struggled. But I go back to the Penn State game. I was there in person. I mean, he was balling out, man. He just had an absolute terrific performance offensively. And I thought, going into this year, returning a lot of their starters. I mean, they're looking strong, and they're comfortable with him at quarterback. And Georgia, I mean, it's just it's the same thing every year. They rebuild with some crazy talent, and they're just getting better. And Carson Beck, they're comfortable with him. There's just not much to say about Carson Beck and Dart. Honestly, at 1 and 2. Quinn Ewers, same thing. Led Texas last year to the playoffs. Did a great job. He's back again. He's got some great talent around him again. They bring in some good transfers. They're solid offensively. I think they're comfortable with him at quarterback. This is first year at the SEC, so I think they're ready. They're looking to be the 2-3 team in the SEC this year. Brady Cook, we talk about how they're losing. I just blanked on this. Y'all both said his name tonight.
Cody Schrader.
Cody Schrader, but they bring in Marcus Carroll from Georgia State, who may not be Cody Schrader, but he is a solid running back who can complement just as well as Schrader did Cook this past year. So I like Brady Cook right there. I think he reminds me a lot of Jackson Dart, just not as highly talented as him. He's a baller. He plays hard, plays with a lot of grit. He runs hard and he wants to win. Garrett Nussmeier, I have him right there because I think Nussmeier, he's got a huge chance to be an absolute stud this year. He really does. I mean, he's sat behind Jaden Daniels the last 2 years, and in year 1 with Daniels, people were wanting him to start, especially
they were wanting him to start after the Florida State game this past year.
Exactly. It's they've been calling his name for so long, and he finally gets to answer it. This is a year for him, and I'm truly hoping for LSU fans that he actually works out, because y'all have said some bad things about Jaden Daniels and what he did, and now they have the chance to see what Garrett Nussmeier is about. I hope he lives up to the hype. I mean, because y'all have hyped him up way too much for him not to be good. Milroe's a player, man. He's an athlete. He's a great winner. He finds a way to win. That's the best way to put it. He really does. I know it. In some instances, people question some of the plays and some of the throws he makes, but he finds a way to win. He's passionate. He runs hard. He works hard, and that's just who he is. Nico, he played great against Iowa. Will said it best. He's a baller. He's a problem. He's going to be great this year at Tennessee. They're going to have a great year with him and going forward. They paid a lot of money for him, obviously. He's here, $8 million.
Allegedly.
Be careful.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Good grief.
Connor Wegman.
Vol Navy will get after you.
I like Connor Wegman right in the middle with Graham Mertz. I think both of them are really talented guys. Obviously,
short
Wegman
stack will get after you, Ralph.
I ain't afraid of short stack. It's okay. We'll talk about it tomorrow night. Don't worry. I'm not afraid of him. Wegman, look, Will said it best. I honestly questioned the Wegman choice of putting him in the middle at first, but I went back and looked at his stats. He was really having a good year, honestly.
Yeah, he really was.
Before he got hurt, he had a really. The only 2 interceptions he threw were against Miami, where they had their worst game. Obviously, we look back at A&M the past 2 years, like every game's really been a bad year because they just struggled with all the talent they had. But I think Wegman's up for a good year. He has a great chance to be solid and lead this team finally to a possibly top 15 team. Graham Mertz, look, Graham Mertz. I had his stats pull up right here. Graham Mertz threw for 20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions last year.
Yeah.
That's not his problem. Their problems does not start with Graham Mertz. It starts with the fact that their coach doesn't trust Graham Mertz.
They're just terrible. They're just bad.
They have no talent around Graham Mertz. The only talent they had was Trevor Etienne.
They got no money. They got no coach.
And Trevor Etienne's gone. So now you have to fill in that gap, which is a huge gap. I mean, a massive gap. For one, we forgot to mention that Georgia's got Trevor Etienne now to compliment Carson Beck.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, that's scary.
Completely forgot about that.
Hey, you can talk about it. You can watch about it. Palmer Thomas joined the show last week, talked about it. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, we didn't get invited to that show, Will.
Nope. Didn't even know it happened.
But yeah, so Graham
Y'all
Mertz,
grinding camos.
I wasn't.
Jackson Arnold, look, Bryce said it too. He could possibly rise in this list easily. He also can fall. They've been waiting for Dylan Gabriel to be gone for the last 2 years to fill in. It's Jackson Arnold time. I've been seeing it all over Twitter. It's Arnold's team now. It's his time to shine. I hope he's the guy that they want him to be. I mean, there's a lot of these guys on this list. I hope they're really good this year. Like, I don't.
Well, and I'll interrupt you right here about the Oklahoma situation because we need to realize and understand. I don't want to say he was pushed out, but that Dylan Gabriel kind of felt the pressure. Like he's at Oregon now. He's like, it's just he's not pushed out, but it's like your quarterback literally went to another college football playoff contender.
Yeah,
like. So Arnold better be good. And if he's not good day one, man, that's going to be tough.
Like
I'd say he has an easier path to the playoff going to Oregon.
Yeah.
Gabriel?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
But like I said, he can easily fall or rise in this list depending on how he's
like Lincoln Riley. Duck the SEC.
I just messaged y'all about this a minute ago. Brock Vandegrift on 247 Sports page is the 16th rated quarterback this year. I get they're sleeping on him. They haven't seen him play. I understand. But to put him at 16 is wild. I think he's too talented not to be higher on that list. I mean, he could easily be where Nico is if he does what I think.
That's behind Peyton Thorne. What have they been watching?
Yeah, I know. Blake Shapen. Blake Shapen has had a good past 2 years at Baylor. Obviously, 2022 wasn't his best season. The interceptions were high, but last year he really dialed it back down. Baylor has just been a shell of themselves the last few years, and just I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. Mississippi State, I think Jeff Lebby's going to let him do what he can do best, and let it air it out. I have no idea of anything about Lenore Sellers except for he had a 50-yard touchdown this past year. That's about all I know about Lenore Sellers. So
you sold me. I put him ahead of Thorne. You sold me. I didn't even know that.
Look. The reason he's behind or ahead of Thorne because I saw Thorne play this year. I watched that bowl game highlight. I watched that bowl game highlight.
Hey, we both watched the Georgia game. You didn't watch that? Yeah. You forget that game?
I watched the Georgia and half the Bama game. I understand. Those were only 2 games that were positive. So
I'm going to read you something real quick. This is a podcast, Locked On Sports. Not a big fan of their program, but it is what it is. Locked On Gamecocks. This is what when Lenora Sellers committed. This is the title of this episode.
choice.
You ready? Lenora Sellers has the potential to be Cam Newton 2.0.
Okay. So was Jeremy Johnson at Auburn. So we know.
That's wild.
If you don't know what Locked On is, that is on brand for Locked On.
That's pretty
That's
on
on
par.
brand.
Pretty on par.
I got Peyton Thorne behind Sellers. I saw Thorne last year. I think going into the bowl week when Hugh Freeze came out and said that Peyton Thorne was going to be the quarterback next year, coming off the loss to Bama and how he played so well there, and then just went out there and played the worst game ever against Maryland. I just, Will has his hand. Will has the exact reaction that he should have.
We'll give Will a second. Just take a second there, Will. We'll get back to you.
Will, I understand. My family's Auburn fans. My dad has the exact same reaction every time.
Will's currently losing it off stream back in the background.
He's throwing stuff right now. His monitor is currently in his wall. Diego Pavia, look, he's a gritty quarterback. He's a
baller. Like Will said, he's a baller.
Yeah, I just don't know if he's going to do well at Vanderbilt. I'm
going to tell you one thing. I don't care because Vandy's on the list. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
no,
North Carolina State was going to be my pick to win the
Vanderbilt
ACC title this year. They're on the list. Vandy, Clark Lee, you're on the list. I'm done. I'm done with you.
Yeah. And Taylor Green was coming from Boise State. This is not Mountain West football. This is the SEC, dude. Like, you're about to get in a world of hurt. Now, if he could prove me wrong. He could prove us all wrong. He'd be the best quarterback in the country. Who knows? But I don't think
he was good at Boise. Like, he wasn't bad.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he had a solid season.
Fire.
They also went through like 4 different quarterbacks at Boise and 2 different coaches in the last like 2 weeks of the season. So
and still made the Mountain West Conference title, I believe.
That shows you how bad the Mountain West is.
It's a joke.
Yeah, somebody just whoever spot they took, I remember they lost their last 3 games of the season.
No, so the coach was fired at the beginning of the year. The interim stepped in and coached
in the middle of the year.
And coached for like the last 5 games.
Why?
And they fired. Then he took another job. I think. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. If I'm correct.
That was rated as one of the worst hires. Y'all familiar with? It used to be with Rivals. His name's Mike Farrell. I don't know. He doesn't work for him anymore. He has his own website, and he rated that as one of the worst hires of the offseason, as well as Troy's new head coach. He rated that as one of the worst hires of the offseason. So, yeah.
You know what?
And you know who he Ralph. I know
if you say John Sumrall is ranked the highest one.
No. Not has nothing to do with Sumrall.
Right,
I mean, he has Sumrall high, but he said who he compared the hire of Troy's head coach to?
Say Chip Lindsey.
Brian Harsin to Auburn.
I was about to say, no, I knew it.
He said it's the same thing. It's like he said he projects it to be the same thing. So,
well, at least Jerry Parker was at Troy at one point. Brian Harsin's never stepped foot in Auburn until then.
I don't think he'd ever had a biscuit ever. Like he'd ever eaten a biscuit before.
I don't know.
At least Jerry Parker actually knows what the
actually
I'm sure he had a car.
He was the OC at Texas.
Not sure he ever had a car.
Look, Jerry Parker at least was on campus at Troy at one point in his tenure in coaching football. So
Brian Harsin did have a car, but it belonged to Auburn. Auburn
carb.
A carb.
Yeah, I don't think he's had a carb since.
Oh God.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, you can instantly get banned from this comments, John. I hope you know that. I have the power here.
We know you have the power sitting there banning people out of Discord the past 24 hours, all the day.
Don't
if you don't, I'll tell you this, and Maxwell brings up keto. Look, it's not keto, but it's got 100 calories and it's 5 grams of protein. You got to check.
They're not a sponsor.
I'm going to posture. I'm going to posture for this every day.
Hold on. Remember the other day I told you I had one of the keto ice cream bars? They're terrible.
Absolute trash.
Terrible. They're terrible. So, you also
speaking of diets, the best diet I've ever heard comes from a current NFL coach, ex-college football national championship winning coach.
Urban Meyer
said he takes a vitamin every day. It's called a steak with a glass of milk.
That sounds awful.
Is that not the worst thing you've ever heard?
That sounds awful. What
do we want to talk about?
I got a comment. over in the Discord that I want to address. I want to be addressed. I want it to be addressed. Yeah, LOL. Call me when it's about the ACC. Don't need to hear about how great Carson Beck is. So we'll sit here and talk about it. Carson Beck has the absolute potential to be the number one quarterback taking the 2025 draft. Super smart decision by him to stay, by the way. Like, the quarterback class is obviously, I don't want to say it's loaded, but there's a lot of needy teams that are going to reach after picks 4 and 5.
My computer's spazzing out. My bad. I would argue that even if he went out this year, he would be a top 10 pick.
I think so.
Not kidding.
It's a loaded quarterback room with him.
I'm gonna be okay. So let's have that conversation. And Ralph, put up a banner. Let's talk Carson Beck. Carson Beck's draft.
Carshawn,
value,
as the Georgia fans call him.
So, I'll ask you this. You think about it. Like we look at these mock drafts, okay, and everyone, whoever you like, number one, I don't care. But it seems to be like the first 2 quarterbacks are going to be Caleb Williams, Drake May. Okay, let's just say those go 1 and 2, whatever order you want. Let's say Jaden goes to New England. Atlanta's sitting there at 8. If Carson Beck was available in this draft,
take him.
They take him over J.J. McCarthy. I'll tell you that.
I'd take him over Michael Penix. I would take him over Bo Nix. I would take him over.
I don't know that I'd go that far.
Well, I'm seeing Penix is going to be a second-round pick.
Well, you know why Will said that. Don't act like you didn't know why he said that.
Oh, yes. Here's
the thing. Sorry, Ralph. Falcons are probably going to draft J.J. McCarthy at 8, so...
Also, we're not going off any intel. It's just strictly just the absolute depression that becomes with being a Falcons fan.
Just take Dallas Turner instead, please. Reach like 4 picks for Dallas Turner, please.
Throw up another banner. Let's go dark horse quarterbacks in the SEC 2024. We'll end it with that. So obviously Carson Beck.
I've got 3 really for you. I got
Wills. So you got
starters?
3?
Is this just starters, or is this like somebody that's going to do something?
Go ahead. Whatever you want it to be. You make it what you want.
I got 3 guys that could all end up being a starting quarterback before the season's over.
Roll with it. Are they all on Auburn's roster?
Holden Garner, Hank Brown, Walker White. There's 3 for you. What is this?
Oh, yeah. You know it. You know it, Jonesy.
What exactly do you mean?
Austin Mack at Alabama is the dark horse quarterback. Yeah, if he plays,
I like that.
He's a top half quarterback in the SEC. Coming into this season, I think.
Played it down.
I think he's better than he started Auburn, right? Am I crazy for saying that?
I would hope so.
I mean, when you look at the other quarterbacks, I don't know. That's pretty much all we got, honestly.
What
about?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ralph.
I was trying to find the quarterback that Florida brought in as a freshman. DJ Lagway. I think he has a chance to start.
That's
true. I know it's really not a dark horse with him not being on. We had no like game film for him yet, but if it comes out that he could be a baller for Florida, and Graham Mertz is not the guy, and they're just struggling, we'll see Lagway play.
Well, and here's the key to that real quick, is if Billy Napier is coaching for his job the last 4 or 5 games of the season, Lagway's the guy. Like I'll say that's the hardest college football schedule in the country. I don't want to hear Tech fans whine. I don't want to hear Auburn fans whine. Florida has the hardest schedule in the country. Like that is absolutely ridiculous.
They're gonna have to. They're probably gonna have to start 6-0 to make a bowl game. That's how hard
it's nuts. Like it's nuts. So I agree with you, Ralph. There, I think Lagway is gonna have to start. Anyways,
I got your darkest horse quarterback right here. The $3 million man, Arch Manning.
Ooh,
we've seen Quinn Ewers get banged up in his 2 years as a starter.
And what's his name is no longer there. Malik
Murphy. It was Hudson Card in year 1. Malik Murphy's at Duke now.
Duke, that's right.
So Arch Manning.
It's not a bad one. When I was reading this 247 Sports list under Jackson Arnold, it said that if he's not the guy they are looking for, it would be gosh, I just had his name pulled up, and I can't think of
Is
the
it
back
General
word,
Booty? Is he
Yes.
still there?
I think so.
General.
How could you
That
forget
is-
that name?
I forget because I thought he was gone. I honestly did. I think that's the best thing in college football.
He's a
I mean, come
redshirt
on.
sophomore. A redshirt junior.
What does that mean? Currently Bill. What is that? Oh, current Bills fan? Dude, get out of here.
You're talking about Falcons. I'm not a part of this situation anymore. I told you, I officially left.
When the Falcons win the division this year, don't
That's fine.
come crawling back.
When
Don't
the
have
Falcons
to.
win the
The
division,
Bills- That's
going
fine.
7 and 10
Bills
this
will,
year.
The Bills will win the AFC North. It's fine.
Did you see?
South, whatever it is?
Did you see that Tyler Yates used to be the quarterback a long time ago at UNC?
Yep.
He's the Falcons quarterback coach still, I believe.
Yep.
And he literally said that he said on record today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all saw this. Did you see this?
Was this the other day? You mean when they talked
Or
about
what the other
Desmond
day
Ridder?
when he literally thinks Desmond Ridder can improve?
Have fun watching
I'll
that
jab
shit.
this pen through my eye socket live on stream.
Go
He's not
Bills.
that bad.
Go Bills.
He's not good, but he's not that bad.
Josh Allen for MVP, baby.
Okay, I got to address this before we get out of here because we're going to wrap this up. Is Bruce umping in that pick? First off,
No, that picture.
that is legendary picture, by the way.
He knows what that
That's
is.
Sid-
He's trolling.
Is that who I think it is? The guy you put on your podcast one day, and no one really realizes it.
Sid Bream was on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
The day that Sid slid. The
That was at
COVID
that game.
episodes rocked, by the way. Those COVID
I mean,
episodes
People
were
forget
really
who you
good.
had on there.
We had Bill
Carey.
Curry was a really good one. Chip Carey. We
Bro,
had
you're not even naming the
Sid
biggest
Bream.
name. You haven't. You still haven't named the biggest name.
That was pre-COVID.
That was pre-COVID. Okay.
When we went to Vince Dooley's house. That was unbelievable.
You had
one of the best interviews I've ever.
Andy?
That was awesome.
Andy Bertram?
Andy Bertram, yes, Andy Bertram was
did?
on the show. I thought you were about to say like Andy Taylor from, whatever it is.
Oh,
You weren't
Yeah.
alive during Sid's list. Frank Fleming was on the show.
Here's
That was-
here's a funny
Night.
fact about that. I still haven't seen that episode.
It's okay.
I haven't watched it.
It's
he's a lot better person, honestly, talking to. Like, he's not as crazy, but he's honestly true about everything. He's not wrong.
yeah. It was interesting. It was weird.
What?
Frank is the biggest guest ever. Both literal
Shout out to
size.
Frank. The walks are doing great.
Yes.
He's killing it. He's killing it,
Yes.
man. He is
And
banned from flying right now, though. Y'all didn't know that.
We want also to end the show with this. Obviously, we don't. This podcast I'm wearing Colorado gear. Will's an Auburn guy. Ralph's, in denial that he's an Auburn fan, but he is he's a Troy fan through and through. This is still though an SMU stand show, and we do
Absolutely.
appreciate.
Pony up, baby.
Pony up,
Well, I don't know if
baby.
I told you this. We did get a massive follow from someone in their facilities who appreciated what we did the other night. And we stand for that. And it
Pony up.
is what
The
it
Ret
is.
Jet.
Bryce is a UGA guy.
You
Real
got-
quick, so
Listen,
all the people
SMU,
on
SMU.
Hey,
I'm talking
go ahead, go Will.
SMU. You cannot let Rhett go home to Arkansas. You can't.
Please don't.
Got to keep him there.
You got to keep him there. We need those SMG owners to give the show. All right, real quick, you guys talk amongst yourselves to give everyone over on Jackets Online, the rivals, the screenshots that they all really, really want. I'll be right back.
What?
Oh, is it because he's gone? Is it because he's got the
I don't know what he wants.
he's got the LSU helmet, he's got the Falcons helmet,
helmet,
he's
Georgia
got the
Tech helmet.
Tech helmet hiding at the
Valdosta
very
State.
top. There's Valdosta
Barry.
State, Barry, a ton of Braves.
the Masters.
It's
He's
got to
already
be
been to
because
Masters.
they think he doesn't like it.
Yeah, they know that.
Oh, 100%, Dr. Bob. He's 100% going to get a Georgia shirt.
He has to put his UGA shirt on real quick. He has to show that his true colors. He'll probably go put on one of his random pullovers.
Here's the thing. His
He probably
wife
has an SMU
graduated from
shirt.
Georgia.
She did.
His wife graduated from Georgia. He should get a pass.
Is that how it works?
Oh, Maxwell, if it's a collar, if it's a collar,
No, he does not. I don't think he owns a Georgia UGA collar.
Becomes
If it's
back
a
in
baby, it's a baby shirt, isn't it? It's a UGA.
it's
football.
probably a
It's
Georgia
a baby
onesie.
dog. It's gonna say like baby dog on it. And
It's probably a
I'm
Georgia
leaving.
onesie.
Just a Georgia onesie, 1000%. He was FaceTiming me today while you were at practice, Will, of the houses they're looking at.
I didn't have practice today.
You didn't have practice today? Where were you all day? Where were you?
I was at my parents' house all day.
You were eating breakfast from 9 o'clock to
That's
4.
That's right. From 10 to 4, I had breakfast. Yes, sir.
But he was FaceTiming me the house, and I said, I can't really see y'all, leaving your daughter outside and forgetting about her. You go back inside.
I don't think Hillary would do that.
Hillary is that's what I was saying to him also. I was like, anytime someone says, look, and see, I knew it. No, don't you dare. No, do not. I'm not
I can't see it, so it's going to be a surprise for me.
You don't want to see it. No, hold on, Will. I'm doing this. Okay, I'm just doing this for ourselves. I'm taking us out. Nope.
Yes. Yes.
Hold on. Give me a second.
Let them have it.
Ready?
Put that in the Discord.
Yeah. So we got.
Put this in the Discord.
Here we go. Yeah. So just go ahead and screenshot this. Let's get it out there. One more item.
Yes, it keeps getting better.
We have an armless Mr. Potato Head. So, yeah, I mean, this is for the people who want to discredit what we do here.
I got one for you too,
but
I'll put it back up.
Breast 1000% definitely. I was just confused with his wife.
I'll put it back up.
Change and do
this is what we do around here, people. What we want, we're not going to call you when we're talking about the ACC, because when we're talking about the ACC, we're going to be talking about SMU. Pony up.
Where's the Herschel campaign?
Word has it he has a UGA Speedo. Put that on.
Oh yeah.
There's a rumor that Ralph has a Cadillac Williams poster in his apartment hanging up.
Maxwell loves this helmet. He's commented twice about it. He loves it.
You know what? You're not wrong, Jonesy. That is also a gift from Bryce. I shout out to Bryce for that gift. I will say that.
This is probably the best helmet in my collection, though. No doubt about it.
The berry one, the matte blue berry helmet is fire.
Because this helmet's fire.
That is fire.
Those helmets are awesome.
I've been begging Katie for one of those.
Katie is Will's girlfriend who works for the Falcons.
How do we feel about this when we put these two together?
Something's wrong.
This helmet is fire, by the way.
It
is really cool.
Get your screenshots now, people.
I feel the hate. I feel the just clean.
Well, it's not hate when you just feel bad for them. That's the problem. It's not hate. I mean,
Dr. Bob.
2016.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
All right, we're stopping there. We're gonna end in there. That's too far. We need to stop now.
All right, before we get out of here, ladies and gentlemen, look, 5 grams of protein, 100 calories. Got to check it out. Y'all so far. Lively show. Hey, we'll catch you tonight, or to catch you tomorrow, I guess.
We'll catch you tomorrow night.
It's like Kirby's son. Yeah. We'll catch you tomorrow night talking Haynes King, Georgia Tech, because we hate Georgia Tech so much, we literally dedicate most of our lives to it.
No dogs.
We live 7 hours away. It's going to be very interesting, and we'll talk about it next time. Will Mannis, Ralph Lehrman, is Bryce Koon. SEC quarterback rankings, Carson Beck is elite. Greatest quarterback in the world, and better than Tom Brady. We'll catch you next time. See you later.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The crowded booth is coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Koon.